are tired of returning to that space of, oh, come on.
Yeah.
It's only going to be another 3 days, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's how it was for my daughter.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, well.
You don't know.
You don't know. And
That's one of the tough things about suicide.
Yeah.
Oh, I said the word.
I see. I don't even want to say that word.
I know. Do you know?
It's only because I don't feel like I know enough about it.
Oh,
And I
look,
don't want to bumble the make them.
I ejected that word from my vocabulary. I've only just started using that word again.
Right.
I hated the stigma, and there are 3 other mums that I met with. We still meet every now and then. We just get together. They have lost a child to suicide, and you know, they don't feel exactly the same as I do. Where everybody experiences their grief differently because we are different people and we're dealing with different former experiences and, you know, models in our minds, etc., etc. But what was I going to say? The stigma. One of the mums said that she didn't find there to be a stigma. And I've had a long time to sit with this. And I think while people would not ban me from talking about my kids or the subject of suicide, that's a horrible word, isn't it? It carries too much. I feel that the stigma carries too much because people don't do their work about their own mortality. I think it carries a fear of death itself, and that adds to the heaviness of the stigma of suicide. I suppose I feel the stigma in not being allowed, not feeling free to talk about my children with pride because it makes other people feel uncomfortable. You know, I think that's where you feel the stigma, right. That I can't just burst forth and brag about my kids as I would have when they were still alive or as I would still about Ashley.
Yeah.
You know?
I can get that.
Yeah, Ashley's alive, so it's all right for me to brag about him. People want to hear me say things about him and brag about him, but they would feel uncomfortable with me being a typical mum about the other kids.
Yeah. Well, I guess they wouldn't know what to say.
They don't.
Back. Yeah.
They don't. And it's that uncomfortableness that we call a stigma, you know, that deters you from feeling free to talk about it.
Yeah. But, you know, I find a lot of people I know, maybe in this very time we're in now, where it's pretty confusing for a lot of people. Like, you know, it seemed like hunting, you know, in a group, and it was probably horrible. but right now, living in a townhouse, say, sort of thing, and you're trapped in this horrible job, and yeah, the news seems horrible. Like if you watch the news too much and get into all that,
I think the news is horrible.
It is. I gave it away a year ago. It's changed my life. As simple as that.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Yeah.
I don't need to know what's going on in Syria because I wouldn't have known.
Well, it's only the bad stuff that's going on in Syria. It's only the bad stuff they call the news.
But even still, I wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
For, you know, if it took 1,000,000 years for me to be here, only 100 years ago, all I would have known is what's in this suburb. That's it. And I need to I was finding myself being so sad and depressed about the world and the politics and that I talked to the local girls down here at the chicken shop, right? And I'd put that all on them, and they had this opinion of me being this guy. Then I went, whoa, I stopped all that. Because now I try and make their day nice, so they feel great, so that my particular area I can see, you know what I'm saying? Which is how it was 100 years ago. It's your tribe here.
Yeah, it is.
There's no need to know. It's horrible, the horrors that are going on over there. But I find, that's what I was getting at, okay, is that a lot of people I know struggle. They get really low, you know, and they get over it with support. There's a fair bit of this Facebook support that floats around, you know, this lighthearted Facebook. People can really look out for when people start, you know, with Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, for some reason, this guy all of a sudden is having a bit of a turn, you know, and I know people, come on, mate, cheer up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I'd want to think now that in my generation of people I know, the people who have honestly gone, I've been there. It's not a stigma to me at all. But it's, you know, I understand. You know, really understand. I wouldn't be surprised there's a fair bit of those people.
I would be surprised if they're, I am surprised to hear a person say they have never contemplated it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, what sort of cloud are they living in?
I know. I think they're fortunate if they've never had that feeling or that thought.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that you should not discuss it. That I think there's a difference between feeling suicidal or contemplating it and thinking about it, because I think about it. But if I ever feel that way myself, which of course I still do, Ashley and I, as the survivors, are at an increased risk for the rest of our lives. It's a pretty big thing to take a step after step after step every day, isn't it? It's huge. But you put your mechanisms in place. There seems to be some part in me that's deciding day after day, I'm going to stay. I don't know why.
You better.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's not until you say that right now that I never even contemplated.
Oh, yeah.
That you'd have that thought.
Oh, true.
Yeah, I know. Of course you would. But
we do.
I didn't even. I've never even thought that.
Well, after Ali died, I had friends ring and say, you just get you get many hundreds of phone calls in that week. And I had quite a few friends say, look, it's understandable. If you need to go too, we won't blame you, Okay. And it was nice to have that acknowledged,
Right. That must be memorable, though.
Yeah.
In the bad times,
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. How do you make yourself stay? One of the mechanisms that I put in place is to not think of, and this is just how my mind works, you've got to work it out for yourself, how you work, is to never think of the method.
Right.
I don't ever think, how would I carry it out physically? I don't ever have that in place.
Yeah.
And that's one safeguard.
Me too. Good.
Yeah.
That must be a good thing.
Yeah. It's like a discipline that I seem to have, enlisted.
That must be the trick, wouldn't it?
It is for me.
Yeah.
I know this is how my mind works.
Yeah. I think if you do have that next, that's so you've crossed over,
then the body can just act it out.
Yeah. And it's wise not to go there.
What is for me. And it's not that I judge suicide, Drewby.
No. Well, basically we live and die.
Yeah, we do. And there are people who think it's bad, think it's wrong, that it shouldn't be an option. And, there's one of these mums that I mentioned. Yeah. They're very grounding for me, not to get too carried away with generalisations about my experience. Yeah. We all process it differently. I myself really need to maintain respect for my kids and for their actions and their decisions, if it is a decision by then, because I think, you're in a pretty low place. I don't think it's something you do when you're feeling happy. But, it's just important to me because they were such respectable human beings. They were just amazing, Simon and Ali. And it's important to me to show respect that, for their actions too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do think that everybody's got a right to choose when they die and maybe how they die.
Yeah, and if anyone's been there, they'll know it's a frame of mind. You aren't thinking beyond. You aren't thinking about your loved ones. You aren't.
I don't think you're capable.
No, you're in a frame of mind that this is just unbearable. I can't get out of this. I'm not thinking about mum, or I'm thinking. I've been there, and then you find yourself going, oh.
It is. It's exactly.
Whoa.
It's blinkered thinking.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, so I think intelligent people would recognise that,
My kids are very intelligent.
Yeah.
Ali was dux of her year, just a month before Simon died, she came dux of her year in high school. She used to go to an opportunity class in OC when we lived in Coffs Harbour for very bright children. She was incredibly bright. She'd be on that stage collecting award after award after award. She was lovely, wasn't she?
Oh, yeah. Clearly an exceptional person, and a thinker. The few times I met her, you could just tell.
Did you have any conversations with her?
Yeah, but again, it was after a show. So, but I could tell, she was clearly beautiful,
bright spark.
And very beautiful.
Very.
And I could imagine her overthinking, or I could imagine her getting heavy, if you understand that. Not being the type of person that I never get those feelings.
She
you know
was,
what I'm saying?
I think that
she
Ali
definitely wasn't an airhead in any way.
No, she wasn't. She wasn't. Neither of them were. But I think that she was better suited to this life than Simon was. I think that she was a Gemini. She was a really good socializer. She was, and it's like she had everything under control. She was a fantastic debater and a fantastic public speaker, and she was cheeky, and she used to swear like crazy. She was a beautiful dancer, and all her subjects. She was artistic. She was.
I remember you saying she took Simon leaving really hard,
I think she died of sibling grief, Druby.
Yeah.
I think if Simon was still here, she would be too.
Yeah, which is fair enough.
Yeah, it is. It is.
You see it in animal behaviour.
The mourning, the grieving.
Yeah. Yeah, but actually, just everything's gone.
Finality.
Lots of things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which makes me want to ask, with the group, do you hear of it happening through the families? Generations of does
suicide?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like my wife's Japanese. My brother-in-law's girlfriend, her dad passed.
Took his own life.
I can't even say, you know what I mean, without feeling.
You got euphemisms. One is he took his own life. It sounds a little easier.
Took his own life. That's what I'm saying. I get really worried for her, just by nature, because that's the person she's looking up to there.
That's
How does that work?
Well, I think that when you when you've got a death by suicide that you're being asked to process and come to some sort of acceptance of, you have to put a tick next to that box in your own self, in your mind, somewhere. That's what the process asks you to do. Accept this.
Right.
Okay, this person died by suicide. Okay, you've got to put a tick next to that. And I think there's something in that makes you vulnerable. I don't know.
Yeah.
Especially for me, because I want to show respect for my children. So it means that I'm respecting those actions. So there's a lot of sorting for me mentally, as to keeping myself here.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time the pain has been so bad that you just want to be with them.
Yeah.
And that's how it was after Joseph died too, my baby.
Yeah.
My dad came in to me probably 10 days after his death, and my dad's a very happy person. And he said, "Little darling, this world's a wonderful place and you're going to be all right. You'll see." And I said, "Dad, I hate this world. I want to be dead. I wish I was with Joseph." My poor dad.
Yeah.
He's such a good man. That's how I felt. That's how I just made sure I kept talking those words at him until he couldn't speak.
Yeah.
He's a lovely man.
Sounds like it.
He is.
Sounds like it.
He's copped a bit from his daughter, who's remained a rebellious adolescent all her adult life.
Hey, oh, jeez. Do you ever wake up and go, "I feel great, yeah. Oh, that's right."
Oh, look, in the first
I mean?
few years, it's like that. It's horrific. The first few years, especially the first day after, is horrible. The first morning you wake up to the world without your child in it, is just horrible. And it was many months after Simon died before I woke up and didn't feel, I can't live in this world today. Yeah. It was many months. Yeah. I noted it in my journals. Whatever date it was, today was the first day I woke up and didn't suddenly get the feeling of being confronted by the reality Simon's dead.
So you had a journal all through this time?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Have you read that back?
I've read a lot of it.
Yeah?
I've transcribed a lot of it.
Wow. That'll be something.
Yeah, it is something. That's my gift to the world. Don't know whose hands I'm going to leave it in yet, but some of it will go in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's valuable. I think, what have you got except experience?
Yeah.
Especially
a
place where not everybody gets to go. One of my cousins said, "I feel like you've been to the edge of the world where the dragons are."
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, really. See, because you would have